Hello and welcome to another episode of Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy. This is going to be one of the most controversial, hardest, probably the episode that you argue with the most, because this is our Premier League end of season table prediction before a ball has even been kicked. The transfer window isn't even closed, so I'm sure come May you will look back on this and say you were so wrong, because in October someone will buy a world-class player and it will completely change everything. Anyway, please like the channel, subscribe to our page, follow us on Instagram at pub_football. I'm Miles, this is Jimmy, and individually we've picked our Premier League tables for the end of the season. We'll try and explain the best we can, but let's get into it. I think we move from 20th to 1st.
Yeah, that's fine.
Starting at the bottom, I put Fulham because and they struggle to get up. I don't mind Scott Parker as a manager, but do I think he's Premier League level? Not yet. Do I think their squad is a Premier League squad? Not yet. Again, they could sign a few more players. They've just brought in Areola from PSG, which could be brilliant in goal, but unfortunately, if you can have the best goalkeeper in the world, if you've got nothing in front, it doesn't really help out. So I think Fulham will struggle this year. I don't think it'll be that they're cut adrift, not like Norwich last season, but I can see them struggling.
Yep, I've also gone for Fulham as well. I agree. I think they are quite similar to Norwich. So in fact, they try and play football, but I don't think they've got a goal scorer. I know Mitrovic does it in the Championship, but not in the Premier League. And I do worry for them. I do like Scott Parker though, but I'm sorry you're going down.
Palace I've gone for second last, and so have you.
Yes, yes.
I just don't think they're very good. I think that on the surface, the Eberechi Eze signing looks fantastic, but that's only if Roy Hodgson allows him to play. And the problem is, you look at signings like Max Meyer in the past, Roy Hodgson doesn't use him because he's not really into creative players. He wants a rigid system. That won't get the best out of Eberechi Eze, and he could be deemed as a flop this season. I personally, if I was Eze, I think that Palace and Burnley are the two worst teams he could have gone to. But we'll see. It might be that Roy Hodgson's going, you know what, I'm old, I don't care anymore, let's let the reins out. And he could be brilliant and Palace could finish 9th.
Yeah.
But we predicted this last year as well, to be fair. But second half of the season, they were awful.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The second half of the season, they were absolutely awful. And they still struggle for goals. They haven't got a goal scorer.
Zaha's still there.
Yeah, Zaha is still there. There might be a taker towards the back end of the window. I doubt it. But if they don't get a proper, decent goal scorer in, they're going to struggle. They didn't score many goals last season. They're going to struggle.
18th is where we differ. I'll let you go first with your 18th.
I've gone for West Brom, purely because I don't like West Brom. And again, another team who hasn't particularly bought too well. Pereira's obviously come in on a permanent deal. It's a good signing. But apart from that, it is a pretty Championship level squad.
When we did our video of the promoted teams and how they would do, a West Brom fan went off in the comments.
Oh, brilliant.
Really went off. I blocked the comment because, and I wouldn't normally block comments, I'm normally all for them, but he had comments blocked on his page, which wasn't very funny. So I was like, you know what, don't comment if you're going to block comments on your page. That's not really how this works. But feel free to comment, please do. Argue with us, we'd like you to, but just don't be a dickhead like he was. I've actually gone West Ham because the Brady Diangana thing is just... Grady Diangana, it's just made me think that there's a negativity around West Ham, that they're going to have a shocking start to the season. The fans, their lucky fans aren't in the stadium. It's funny how they turned the season around when it was behind closed doors at the end of last season.
And Mikel Antonio had the form of his life as well.
Yeah, they haven't improved on the side. I don't think Mikel Antonio can do that consistently over a full season. I think Mark Noble looks like he's angry. I think there's a lot of negativity around the club, and I think they might just go down this year.
Yeah, I've got them the position above in 17th because, as you say, no signings. Captain on Twitter absolutely slating everyone at the club. It's not a good start to the season. Trying to desperately get Tarkowski in. He's not going to go to West Ham. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. They're going to struggle.
17th, I've gone West Brom. Because pretty much the same reasons that you had. I don't think they're that great. I don't think they've got much Premier League quality. Again, the way that Grady Diangana has been talked about, you expect him to be one of the best players in the league, but I don't think he's there yet. And because I don't like that bloke from the comments, so I put them down there. 16th, I've gone stayed in Birmingham and gone for Aston Villa. I don't think that they've strengthened enough in the window. They've brought Ollie Watkins in, which I like. And I think he could be brilliant, and he was brilliant last year for Brentford, but they've not strengthened enough elsewhere. They weren't good last season. They weren't good at the back. They weren't great in midfield, and they weren't good up top. They brought Ollie Watkins in. Jack Grealish, we know, you know, we rate and we love. Beyond that, McGinn will work hard, but there's not much quality there.
No, I've also gone for Villa as well in that position. As you say, only bought one player of any real quality. Not a proven goal scorer in the Premier League. A lot of pressure on him to hit the ground running, especially when Wesley's absolutely awful. And again, McGinn's back for the whole season, hopefully. Should make a difference, but they're going to be right in and around it again. And I think they'll just, by the skin of their teeth, get enough points.
I've gone for Leeds in 15th. First season back up. I think they need to temper their expectations. Rodrigo, brilliant signing up top, should provide goals. But he can't afford to have a settling in period. He needs to provide goals straight away because Leeds, they don't have much Premier League quality, not Premier League quality necessarily. We say Premier League quality. They don't have much Premier League experience in that side. We've just seen Calvin Phillips really struggle for England against Denmark, which had Championship midfielders in their team.
Yeah, and Norgard,
So I'm just not sure, and I think they'll be fine. I think Bielsa's a great manager and they'll stay up. But I would temper the expectations, and I'd be happy with staying up next season and then pushing up the league. This isn't Leeds from 2002. We're not expecting Leeds to finish in the top 4. I know some Leeds fans think it's a European push. No, just stay in the league.
Stay in the league, yeah, consolidate. I've actually gone for Burnley in 15th. Again, another team who hasn't really bought anyone. An ageing squad. They're very yo-yo, aren't they?
Lost a few players.
They have, yeah. And then one week they'll win 2-0 and then we'll lose 4 on the bounce after that. They're going to do that again this season, but they've got enough quality.
Brighton in 14th. Potter's a good manager. Lallana's a great signing.
Yeah.
I look at them and I think, you know what? Good side. They'll struggle because Aaron Moy had that weird contract, a clause in his contract that meant that he was allowed to be sold to China. So he's off to China. But I just like Potter. I liked them last year. They were a bit inconsistent, but that for me just smacked new manager, new style, so getting used to it. This year I think they'll be better and I think they'll comfortably stay up, but they won't set the world alight.
Yeah, I've also got Brighton in the same position. As you say, we will improve on last year. Potter's doing a good job.
13th, Burnley. It's going to be a Burnley season. They'll win some, they'll lose some. They'll be solid. They have lost some important players, but I like Burnley.
I've got Leeds in 13th. Just a slightly better season than you said. I think Rodrigo will hit the ground running.
12th, I've gone Southampton.
Yes, same. So have
as well.
Yes.
I'm a bit worried about Southampton. They could end up finishing 17th because they haven't strengthened. But in saying that, second half of last season, it felt to me that Hasenhutl's tactics were starting to click. Yeah. They've got Danny Ings still, who's been brilliant. Che Adams started to score a few goals. They've brought Kyle Walker-Peters back in, which I don't think is a terrible signing. I think it's a handy right back. They've got Premier League experience in there. They've got a decent enough back four. Their goalkeeper's playing quite well, Alex McCarthy. Like I said, it could be a problem, but they should be fine. 12th, I think, is about right.
Yeah, as you say, great manager, good back half of last season. Redmond was also playing incredibly well, and when you've got Danny Ings up front, you are going to be fine. 11th,
Newcastle.
Yes, same.
And this is non-takeover Newcastle. This is Newcastle that I think have done great in the transfer window. This is Newcastle under Steve Bruce, who I think did a brilliant job last season. Yes, they didn't play the best football in the league, but he got them, kept them up. They're still there this season, and that's important. And they won a lot of football matches last season. They won a lot of Premier League games, home and away. Now they've signed Callum Wilson up front. They've got Almiron, they've got St Maximan, they've signed Ritchie, Jeff Hendrick adds Steele in the midfield. They've still got Shelvey. They've bought Jamal Lewis at left back, who I think is a great signing. This is a good team.
It is, yeah. This time last year, we were absolutely slating Newcastle.
We thought they were going to go down.
No direction, manager who the fans don't really like, not bringing anyone in. They look like they're going to struggle, but he had a fantastic season last season, Bruce, and the signings massively improved that squad, and they're going to be fine this year. Easily mid-table.
10th. Who have you gone?
I've gone Sheffield United.
So have I.
It's like we've spoken about this 3 hours ago.
It is.
Yeah.
I just think that it will be a little bit of coming back down to earth this season for Sheffield United, but they've got a great manager. Again, their signings have been good, solid. They've got a good team, and if I was a Sheffield United fan, you know what? From where they've been 3 years ago, mid-table in the Premier League for a couple of seasons, and it's great.
Yeah, agreed. As you say, they will again have a steady, solid season. They brought in some decent players who just improved that squad. But Wilder's doing a fantastic job.
Right, the next sort of 5 or 6 places,
Right,
I think we have a lot of differences.
Yeah.
Ninth, I've gone Wolves, because I think this season could be the season that Wolves maybe struggle a bit more. Now, the reason for this is I don't think that Wolves are going to go through the rest of this transfer window unscathed.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think will go?
Potentially Ruben Neves.
Okay.
Potentially Traore. Potentially Jimenez. And by December, potentially the manager.
Potentially.
I think there'll be big clubs that might want to look at him. And that's where I think they might struggle. Now, I'm not, Adrian Durham on TalkSport thinks he might get relegated. That's a bit too far for me. But ninth is a real possibility. And even if they keep the players they've got, they haven't improved the side. And they haven't improved the squad to step on. And I would have done that. From where they finished last season, remember they fell off last season and didn't get in Europe, which should have happened. All year they were in touch with the Champions League spaces, fell off at the end of the season, and they're not in Europe next year, which might go in their favour. They had a long season, July to July. But they haven't improved the squad. And if you really want to be pushing up the table, you have to improve the squad every single season.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've gone for Everton in ninth because I'm not convinced. We've mentioned this in the video before of the signings. As you say,
you said Doucouré is going to be great.
I think Doucouré will be great. I think Allen will be great. I'm not convinced by James, and I'm not convinced that back four is particularly solid.
They still don't have a great striker.
They don't have a great striker. They don't have a good centre half partnership. I don't like Michael Keane. I don't like Jerry Mina. If they can get someone
Holgate looks better.
Holgate looks great, which is great. If you can get someone next to Holgate who's decent, I'll give them half a chance. But I've got a feeling Ancelotti might be out the door by Christmas, and that will massively scupper their chance of doing anything.
I've gone 8th, Leicester.
Same, yep.
I think that it'll be more like the end of last season. They've got a good side. They've not improved on a side that wasn't doing that well. Still think their midfield's great, and Didi, Tielemans and Maddison.
Yeah.
But there's something missing.
European
I'm not sure what it is.
As well to contend with, so big season, yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but there's something missing, and that's the difference between them and the top 4 right now.
Yeah, definitely. They play some lovely football. Rodgers is a great manager. But as you say, they just miss that something against big teams, don't they?
And they've lost Chilwell.
Always lose the big teams.
Yeah, and they've lost Chilwell.
Yeah. Bought in a left back from Atalanta.
Is he
great.
as good as Chilwell?
I think he might be.
Well, that would be great then. I'm still going 8th. In 7th, I've gone Everton. And you're going to annoy me here, aren't you?
You've gone for Spurs. So I've gone for Spurs for several reasons. I don't think Mourinho will be there this time next year, which is a massive factor in that. And I don't get what you're trying to do as a club in terms of the style of football, because it's not working.
It worked at the end of the season.
It did, but there are other games where you are so defensive, it is irritatingly hard to watch.
I think Matt Doherty is a great signing at right back. He is everything that we want Serge Aurier to be. He's good going forward, but he's good at the back.
Yeah.
He can cross, he'll get assists, which is great. I hope that Ryan Sessegnon kicks on and can play left back, because I'm not a massive fan of Ben Davies. I think Højbjerg is what we need in the midfield, and Ndombele's still there. Second season might go well. I think Mourinho is slowly starting to get there. You're right, we're too defensive, but I don't know. End of the season, we were winning. If end of the season we were pretty much top of the table form wise. We're in the top 3, I think, top 4.
I'm just not convinced by
Well,
that.
I think actually no. Since Mourinho took over, Tottenham would have been in the top 4 on points. So with that manager, yes, he's expected to win titles. Are Tottenham going to win a title? No, but I think they'll do better than 7th. I really do.
I'm just not convinced by it. I feel like they're just papering over the cracks. I feel like there's going to be a massive fallout halfway through the season. Kane will want to leave. It could really kick off at Spurs this year. So that's why I've gone for them finishing at 7th. Sorry.
Although I'm loving Mourinho in the All or Nothing documentary. He's great. But I've gone Everton, same reasons as you. They could end up finishing 12th. I'm not sure about signings. They're not top 4 quality. They don't have a striker, and the defence is still dodgy as anything, and Pickford is a mistake waiting to happen as well. In goal at the moment, in 6th. Now, you're going to hate me, because I've gone for Arsenal. Because again, I'm not 100% convinced their signings are perfect. They're better than last season, yes. Have they got a better defence? We don't know yet. They haven't brought in any proven Premier League quality. They could be mistakes waiting to happen. Gabriel looks great on paper, but how many players have we said that about in the past? I still think you're lacking some star quality to get you in the top 4. I know Aubameyang is supposedly the superstar and he scores goals and he'll get you a lot of goals, but he doesn't offer much else. And I think that Arsenal aren't ready for the top 4 yet. And I don't think you're far off. A few more signings, yes, maybe. Will they come to Arsenal? I don't know, but not top 4 yet. 6th. I think it's been nice.
6th, I put Wolves. The main reason I put Wolves in 6th is because they don't have European football this year, and they can solely, like Leicester did last year, just concentrate on the league. And if you give them 38 games just to go, right, let's give it a go, I think they've got the squad to do it. And I think they'll finish above the likes of Spurs and Everton and Leicester. And I think they'll have a really, really good season. I know you've mentioned they might not have strengthened, but they do what they do. They buy some Portuguese kid who's probably going to be brilliant, and he'll come to the fore probably. But
who have you gone for in 5th?
I've gone for United.
Right, I know you've got in the top 4 then. I've gone for Tottenham. For the reasons I mentioned before, I think Mourinho is a good enough manager to get Tottenham in the top 5, and he will improve the side, and he has improved the side. But we've spoken about Spurs.
Yeah,
Man
the reason
United.
I put United 5th is because I just can't see them doing it for 38 games. They're going to have a point where they're going to have a shocker for a while, and there are slight positions where maybe they haven't quite got the strength and depth. And I do like Van der Beek. I think he's a good signing, but it's not where I would have strengthened. It's not the position.
Well, I've put Man United in 4th, and the reason for this is because I think they've strengthened relatively well. They've kept Igalo in, which was a good option off the bench.
I'll give you that.
I actually think Van Beek is a good signing, and the reason for that is because all of the pressure is on Bruno Fernandes right now. But this means that if Fernandes isn't having a good game, if Fernandes gets injured,
you should play them together.
Pogba's not playing well, and we've seen that loads of times. You've now got a player who you can bring in who is of a calibre to add to that strength and depth in that position. I think Fred and McTominay, came along so much last season.
Yeah.
McTominay played well in the holding role. I don't think that we've seen the end of Man United's transfer business. It looks like Sancho could be coming through the door. I don't love the way that deal's been conducted, that they've agreed terms with him before agreeing the money with the team. I don't think that should be happening, because it turns a player's head and it means that he might be all over the place. It's not good for his development or his ego. But in saying that, Greenwood is going to get better.
Yeah, agreed.
As long as he keeps his attitude in check. We've seen what's happened within the England squad. Martial is finally looking like a Premier League striker. Not a proper number 9. I think Greenwood will become that over the next year or two. Rashford had his best season last year by a mile.
Yeah.
They look better at the back. I still think they need a centre-half to play with Maguire, someone with some legs. They've been linked with Upamecano, which would be great if he comes. If he doesn't, I still think they'll just have enough to finish in the top 4. Big issue is whether we'll see Dean Henderson in goal. I don't think Solskjaer is the bottle, but he should be the number 1.
He should be. Yeah, he had an absolutely blinding season. That was awful towards the end. It is the centre half and someone who can just sit in their midfield, win the ball, and do the right things. That is their player they are missing.
Okay, tell me why Arsenal are in 4th then. Come on.
Right, I think Arsenal are going to finish 4th, as we have done for many seasons before, due to the fact that there's just something happening at Arsenal Football Club at the moment, which is good to see. It gives me optimism at the moment, mate. I like the fact
This optimism is there every year.
It wasn't here last year.
I heard it after the first couple of games from Arsenal fans last year.
No, so I'm not having that. So I like the system we play. It suits the players we've got. The work rate is better. Everyone is believing in what we're trying to do at the moment. I know we've got some bad eggs in there, like Ozil can bugger off after a while. Guendouzi needs to leave as well. But everyone is on the same wavelength. And we are starting. There's just something happening at Arsenal. It's really nice to see for once, because I'm so bored of going, oh God, it's so terrible. But if we can just get a decent midfielder in there as well, I think we could have a really, really good season.
Right. We've got the same top 3, so we're just going to go through this together.
We do, yes.
And 3rd is controversial, and 3rd is going to wind up quite a few players.
Oh, quite a few
people,
Yep.
Lots of people, because we have got Liverpool in 3rd. Now, and I got, what? Liverpool? They ran away with the league last year. They won't drop out that much. My reasoning for Liverpool in 3rd is because I don't think they were as good as the points total difference with the other teams suggested last season. I thought they were magnificent. I thought they were fantastic, but there were a lot of games that they just about limped across the line. The reason Liverpool won the league is because their defence was the best in the league last year. The games against Norwich where they won at the end, there were games against, I think, teams like Burnley where they potentially won just at the end. There were a lot of Aston Villa as well. I think they limped past.
90th minute.
There were teams they limped past that they shouldn't have, but they kept getting the job done. I don't think that will be the case this season, and the reason for that is, as we've mentioned with Wolves and other sides, Liverpool haven't strengthened, and you have to strengthen in the Premier League if you want to maintain. Man United always brought in a big player when they were playing up the top. Man City have never sat still. Last year was the first season where you thought they've had a dodgy window here, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Their points difference from the year before was massive. I think Liverpool might fall away this season because they haven't strengthened properly. They've been linked with Thiago for months. I don't know if that's happening, but they've also been linked with losing Wijnaldum. They should be able to keep Wijnaldum and have Thiago come through the door. That's the type of thing Liverpool need to do, but I don't think they're going to do it.
No, I agree. As you say, form after lockdown has been really, really disappointing, and even sort of the Community Shield a few weeks ago, they're really poor. They really were. And as you say, if you don't buy players and at least give the current crop competition, you bring in big players to push people forward. And as you say, if Thiago would have come through the door, everyone would have gone, oh my God, that's such a big statement signing. And it gives the whole club a boost, doesn't it?
They've not even bought players who played well in the Premier League, slightly lower down, to come in and be like, they've got rid of, if anything, they've got rid of their competition. They got rid of someone like Lallana, who didn't play much last season, but was there and could come in and play well, and he did play well when he played.
Jamal Lewis, players like that, they could have easily snapped up.
Gone to Newcastle.
Yeah,
it would have been great to push Robertson on.
Exactly, English, homegrown, just players.
Well, Northern Irish.
Well, it's close enough. Home countries. But yeah, no, it's players like that, and I'm concerned for Liverpool this season. Mainly because one of the teams we're going to mention in a minute is massively strengthened.
Yeah. Second is Manchester City for both of us.
Yeah.
Again, I think they've strengthened well. I think they've brought in Nathan Ake, who I said in the last video, I hate this idea that he can't play on the right-hand side of a centre-back pairing, because we never say that about right-footed players playing on the left-hand side. I think he'd be great. I think they've strengthened that position they need to strengthen. Phil Foden's going to play more. He'll come on. Ferran Torres looks like a great signing, scoring goals for Spain during the international break. And they've still got their X-Factor players in De Bruyne and Aguero. Laporte. I think they're good enough to finish above Liverpool, but I don't think they're good enough to win the league this year, and we'll come to that in a second.
No, as you say, they've highlighted the main issue, which was a decent centre-half, and they've gone and got one.
And it means Fernandinho can now play in the holding role.
Exactly, and their form post-lockdown was absolutely sensational for weeks on end, and De Bruyne thoroughly deserved to be the PFA Player of the Year, and he will continue that next year. And as you say, if Foden come into the fold a little bit more, they are going to have a really, really good season. They will push the team we're going to mention very, very close.
And that team is Chelsea.
It's a big call. It is a big call.
It's a massive call. It's a controversial call, but we have them to win the league. And honestly, if they're not within 5 points of a title, that's a disappointment. They've spent £200 million this summer. They've spent it across the board. They only need to buy a goalkeeper now, which by the time this video goes out, which will be this is Thursday afternoon now, they might have bought a goalkeeper there.
Talks
linked with the goalkeeper from Rennes. But in saying that, Kepa's still young. It could have just been a wobble last season. I personally don't think it is. I just don't think he's very good.
Yeah.
But what they do have now is a much better defence in front of him. So you've got Thiago Silva, who will marshal that defence. He will lead that defence. You've got Ben Chilwell at left back, which is a position that Chelsea have really struggled in for years. Alonso can only go one way. Emerson isn't really up to it. Kennedy, what's the point? He's gone on loan again somewhere. Chilwell will be brilliant next season. In the midfield, they've now got Kante and Jorginho in the holding role. They've got Havertz, they've got Kovacic, they've got Barkley, they've got Mason Mount, they've still got Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming back, and then you've got Werner up top, Tammy Abraham, Giroud, you've got Ziyech on the side, you've got Pulisic on the side, you've got who's the other person? Who's the other people on the side? I've forgotten the wingers. Hudson-Odoi, and I'm sure they signed one more. They've got all of these players. They were brilliant. This is the best squad in the Premier League right now, and they need to challenge for the title. And I know it's a lot of players coming in from overseas, and they do need to hit the ground running. but I think they will, and I think they'll be brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got his summer transfer business spot on. He's highlighted the areas that needed strengthening, and he's gone out and got the best targets. I think Kai Havertz could be an absolute sensation next year, or this season, sorry. And yeah, they are going to be very, very close, and I hope they do it. I hope, for Lampard's sake, they do, because it's a lot of backing for him to give him 200 million quid to go and spend. But yeah, they look across the board a very, very strong side and strong squad. I think they'll do it.
Personally, I would have Reece James starting ahead of Azpilicueta, and I'd actually get rid of. I would have a pretty much completely new back four. I'd get rid of the centre halves who were terrible last season. Maybe play Rudiger at times. I'd give Tomori a go. I don't know what happened at the end of the last season that Lampard seemed to just go off him.
Yeah.
But I'd have Tomori in there next to Thiago Silva. I'd whack the armband on Thiago Silva.
I'd ship. Who's at the back? Kurt Zouma.
I'd
ship him off to Everton. He'll go back again.
Christensen, I'd think about getting rid of as well, and then maybe you've saved up enough money for another very, very good centre half as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the league table. That's our league tables. Please argue with us in the comments. You can put your positions in the comments as well. Liverpool fans, I'm sure you'll have something to say. Chelsea fans, I'm sure you'll be loving us. Man United fans might have something to say. Tottenham fans, Arsenal fans, Leeds fans might have something to say. Fulham fans might have something. If you have something to say, put it in the comments. Let us know what you think.
West Brom fan will.
That one West Brom fan's going to hate this as well. We've bagged on him, haven't we? That was Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy. Like and subscribe to the page. Follow us on Instagram at pub_football. Cheers.